there are no more questions, we'll move on to our next session here, which will be coaching chess online, building a team virtually with Lucian Bogdan from Argo High School. We'll give him a moment to get set up, and I'll double check that he's actually a co-host and can share his screen.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So I want to go over some information. I got started about 3 years ago on a website, and I think hopefully it's going to be very beneficial to us, especially in this time, because it's mostly interactive through a website that's also mobile friendly. So as a teacher, I strongly believe that any content that the students that we want the students to master, and especially chess, has to be taught, has to be practiced, has to be tested, and has to be reviewed. And looking for resources myself, coaching for over 11 years now. I found a lot of great websites, chess.com, Lee Chess, a lot of great resources. But I felt that all of those components are not necessarily there, or I felt that the information is just like overwhelming. It's just a lot of things. And I felt that I should start doing something where it's like step by step for any student, any coach that wants to run a program, or a student that wants to master and improve his skills, to be able to follow step by step, knowing what to study in the beginning, what should be the next steps as he progresses. And I'm not a master, and I want to say yet. But I'm always studying. I'm always reading books. The information that I have is not necessarily my own. I would say it's a synthesis of probably over 12 books that I've read together by famous grandmasters and masters and teachers like Jeremy Silman, Mike Dvoretsky, Jesus Davila, and many others. And also my experience as a coach, going over games, going to a lot of tournaments, and also studying myself. Chess is my passion, and I always read whenever I have some free time. A lot of times it's in the summer. I wake up super early before the kids wake up, and just read for an hour or two and learn. But I am passionate about that, and I've just put something together that hopefully will benefit everyone. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to go to the website, and I'll show you what I have there. And again, this is a work in progress. So the website is called masteryourchess.com. Can everybody see my screen? I just want to make sure before I proceed that we're all good. Okay. So I will start with the most important information, because I'm not sure how long this will take me. I also want to start a timer just to, but I want to go over kind of what I have there, also other components that are on the website, and also what I am planning to add, in the future. So over here, I have a beginner to master chess course, and I break it down by ratings, and I'm gonna go through pretty quick. It is a long list, all the way to master level. I do have content all the way, I would say, to about 1,400 ratings starting from the beginning, but I'm still loading content. Like pawn Endgames, I'm up to like 1,800 and so on. So I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but I want to go over what I have ready so far. So if you click the link of, going from 0 to 100, here it's a list of what's in there before, so how the pieces move. There's going to be important strategies to follow after they know how the pieces move, just like, how much a piece is worth, bishop knights when it's one better than the other, things like that, algebraic notation, and then checkmate in one move. So I believe that all the students, from that level should be able to know that information. So if you click the link, I have here, a video that explains all the pieces, how they move. And then right underneath, there's a link that says practice here, and I try to use resources that are already there. So this will go to Lee Chess, where, they get to go to how the rook moves and practice all the pieces, the bishop, the queen, the king, pawn. And the website does go over, what checkmate is, what stalemate is. And then this is another video of important strategies to know. After that, algebraic notation, also there's practice there, also through Lichess. I can click on it. And then the students will be able to, you press here start, and then it'll say, you know, F3, and they'll be able to practice um, the algebraic notation, just so they get used to being able to read a chessboard, or if they see, or if they read a book, or if they get something to make it easier. Then I also have here 2 links with practice. Level 1 is just basic checkmates. I believe, you know, I do have each year players that they just start how to playing chess. So it's going to go over some basic checkmates. This resource, it is, I believe, a Polish website that's made for kids. And then it has like 17 basic mates. They have to click the link, and this will, when you access this, it is very mobile friendly as well. So the chess screen will kind of cover, just like you'd play on chess.com or Lichess. This website too will be the same on the website. And, you know, it's just some basic mates, and they could go over the practice there. And then I have also checkmate in 1 moves, but they're a little bit more challenging as well at this level. So, you know, just a little bit more challenging, and the students will be able to practice. Obviously, there's a lot of them. They don't need to do all of them, but you do have students that master the content much faster than the others. And, you know, you want to make sure you have enough for, especially when you run practice. And after I go over the content, I'll talk about kind of how I started doing practice, and, you know, some difficulties I have, some successes that I have. Then from going through from 100 to 300 rating, you know, I have checkmate, king and rook, king and queen, understanding the 5 basic draws, you know, like the wrong color bishop, rook pawn, all of that. And then I'm not going to go through everything, because I don't want to, you know, I know this is also beginner stuff, but I do want to show there's like a video for all of those. And then at the bottom, there's also here, click here to practice. So these are positions, just checkmating with king and rook, checkmating with king and queen, and then checkmating when the basic 5 draws, and then checkmating with the queen versus a minor, versus a bishop versus a knight. And then when they click here to practice, it's going to send them to a page that has these positions. Now, this position is run, if you click on this, it will send them through chess.com. It is done through like Fen coding, and they don't need a username on chess.com. And they will just be able to practice that position against a computer. So it'll just take them to a screen, and they don't need to be logged into chess.com to be able to do this. And you'll be able to check too as well on your own on your mobile device. One thing I do want to mention that it's important, whenever you start the first time around, it has here a level. The generic, it's sent, I think it's sent to level 2. You want to make sure to tell the students to go to level 10, because otherwise the computer will not play its best, and you want to make sure that the computer makes the best possible moves. And then, you know, you'll be able to practice against the computer for those positions. And the same thing with all the other positions. When you click on it, it will send you to chess.com to the analysis reader where an engine runs these positions, and then you'll be able to just practice them. All right, so let me close this. So let me go back. For the next group from 300 to 800, I have, you know, just tactics, fork, spin, skewers. Also here, I have some checkmate combinations, and I recommend here, and again, reading the books and stuff, like after reading these, to do like a daily workout for 10 puzzles a day. That's what I recommend my students to do. So when you click here, it does have like a lesson that explains all of those. In the beginning with my students, I use a software that it's called the Chessmaster Grandmaster Edition. It's a very useful software. Now, this year I had to digitalize, just pretty much record those lessons, just because I wasn't able to get the students to have them, especially the freshmen didn't have them. And even some of my other students, if they brought their Surface in and they re-edited, it could only be installed at school. But I was able to digitalize all of this, all the lessons, and then there's practice for each of those tactics, and it will run through either chess.com or the other website that I found, so skewers or whatever topic. They'll be able to practice virtually and practice those skills. At the bottom, I have here some checkmating patterns, which it's also through Lichess. And then for the daily workout, and I try to include free resources, it will send them to where they do puzzles on Lichess. Normally during my season, I use chesskit.com, but I think this year I will probably not renew there, just because I noticed on Lichess you have the ability now, and I think someone else will talk about that, to create a class. And for me, the most important thing was to be able to check and monitor the students' progress on their rating. I actually gave them homework. All the students had to complete 20 puzzles in a week. And then I wanted to be able to check that they've completed that, and to kind of see, the students that work harder or where they're at, and just to make sure that I monitor their progress. But that is available on Lichess now, so that's probably what I'll use in the future. As far as from 800 to 1200 rating, I have some videos here on opening principles, pawn structure, weak squares, open and closed games, effective trading. And then I recommend here learning a basic opening. You know, as throughout the years and the material that I went over, I've noticed that a lot of times, students and coaches focus sometimes just like on the opening, for example. And they do very well. Maybe they come even a piece up, but then if they don't know very well the middle game or the end game, they might not be doing very well in the end. Also, if they study just the end game, which I would say it's even a better choice, it's still, it's still not, I think the content has to be integrated, just because if they know the end game, but they drop a piece in the opening because of a trap, or they don't know, they don't have middle game principles, they're not going to get into a good end game. So they might be a master at pawn end games, but if they're down 2 minors, it's going to be very hard to get that. So the way I have the content here is going to be integrated, especially starting with the next section. But let me go here as well and kind of present what I have. So I have the videos. All of these videos, normally when they run through the software, it asks them question and it's interactive. I did find out of a feature that allows you to kind of have a quiz mode on a video, which probably in the future I will update those. For now, I just set at the beginning to pause the video whenever asked the question, and you think you figure out the move to continue, as far as for these videos. And then for the opening, I have some software here available. And then I also have directions how to run the software. I have this chess position trainer. If you click this link, it's going to send you to a screen where there's 2 files that have to be installed. And I'll show you in a second how that software looks like. I do have all the instructions of how to install and how to use that software right underneath with the video. This software is a free software. It's a full version. Now, it's an old software. I've came across, I think, probably probably about 2010, 2011. It was available online for free, so I downloaded it. Now they do have a new edition, and it runs better on the newer devices, and it's more interactive. The only thing is the new edition is not free. So if you have some money and you want to invest, that's fine. But the old software runs pretty good. And I'll show you kind of underneath here, there's some openings. And at this level, again, we are looking at 800 to 1200 rating, okay? At this level, what I've created, and I've used ChessBase, and I have about 4 million games there that I kind of use to put these positions together. I recommend, teaching the students like the English. I have two variations of it. And then the Sicilian Dragon, just because it's and again, I'm going over when it's the basic. I think I mentioned here somewhere. No, I forgot, but oh yeah, right here at the top. I have just the main lines and no more than 10 moves into the opening. At this level, the students don't need to memorize, 30 variations to be able to play a good opening, but it will take them to where they have their pieces developed, their castle, and then they could start a good game. The reason I recommend like the English or the dragon here is because the Sicilian dragon, if you reverse it, it's pretty much almost the same opening as the English. The pieces will go into similar spots, and obviously, at a high level, there's a lot of variations and stuff, but at this level, I believe, the students should be able to just develop their pieces to active squares, be castled, and know kind of the idea of, okay, we got attack on the queen side. I also have here the basic Queen's Gambit. And again, when I say basic, like I said, I shrink it down to just the main lines and no more than 10 moves into it. And also like a basic Caro-Kann. That's kind of what I teach. But obviously you could teach other openings as well. Now, last night when I was testing to make sure everything goes well, when you click on these files, it should just download automatically. And I noticed for some reason that last night when I click on it, it goes to the PGN version. But I did figure out a way around it. So what you need to do after you install the software, you'll be able to right click, and then you're gonna be able to click here, save link as, and this will download the PGN file. So if I do that, it's going to ask me where I want to save it. I have it in the downloads, and I'll save it. And then after you install the software, I'm going to go to my desktop, and this is the software right here. For the software, and I have these instructions in the video, you want to go to properties, and you want to make sure it runs in compatibility mode in its Windows XP Service Pack 3, just because it's an older version. But like I said, all of those instructions are in the video, and I'll be more than happy to help anyone if you're trying to install it and you have difficulty installing it. So after I open the software, I'm just going to say yes. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay. You'll be able to, this software, it will prompt you, it will ask you about the update. If you update to the new version, that's not going to be a full version. So I would recommend just keeping this old version unless you want to invest some money to get the full version. You would be able to press here, new, create a repertoire, but I don't want to go through all the specs because I don't want to take too much time. But what you're going to be able to is import those PGN files that I have on the website, and then you'll be able to have the students train. So if they go to training, you'll be able to select, the opening that you want for them, either the English or whichever opening. You'll click next. You'll also, this bar, it will be the level. Some of the settings here, you can see they're darkened out just because it's an older version and it runs in compatibility mode, but it does work. And then you'll be able to, whatever level they're at, but this will move with the students. And then what the software will do, it will show them the opening, and then it will have them practice against the computer, that opening. As the students progress, it will not show them the opening anymore, and then they'll just be able to run through the position. And now after the computer showed, you press spacebar, and then now it's your time to shine. If you do a wrong move, it's going to tell you, for example, here, I made a mistake, and it shows them. So, and then they'll be able to practice their opening, okay? So let me close this. And again, these are the openings, but obviously as a coach, you probably have PGN files that you could email to the students. They're very small as far as like how long as far as the space, and they could be sent through an email. And then the students could use the software. I also have a sit on the go. At the top, there's a link that will send them to Google Play to be able to install it on their mobile device. It is an Android software. It doesn't run on Macs. They'll be able to install it, also downloading those PGN files and practice it on their mobile device. And I have a video underneath how to do that. And then they'll be downloading the same files and just putting it there. And also the Perfect Chess Trainer, I believe this runs on iPhones. I'm not a iPhone user, and I know some of you will really like why, but I don't have Apple devices, and this is the one I found that I think it's going to work on iPhones. I haven't tested it on iPhones, but this one is not a free version. I believe it's about like $2-3, which I think it's a very great investment. There's a link to where the students are able to install it, but they could also practice those opening files. So I'm not gonna go over it. And then again, there's a video of explaining how to install it, how to use it. And the main purpose of the video, it has a lot of other features where you could do tactics and other stuff. Even the other one, you could put like an engine and stuff. But in the video, I just focused on the opening because for my students, I'm using this for openings. A lot of times I have them if we're on the bus and we're going to a tournament up, like 50 minutes away. I'll have them practice on their phones or catch them up with the lesson or practice their opening, on their mobile device. And then moving on, this is kind of where I'm left off. Going from 1200 to 1600, what I have here is the pawn endgames that I believe, should be learned at this level, which is opposition, critical squares, dip freeze, fox in the chicken position, the square of the pawn, outflanking, piece versus pawn, queen versus the pawn on the 7th rank, bishop versus single pawn, and I have all the other ones. Also for rook endgames at this level, the Lucena Philidor position, strategies of cutting out the king, the importance of rook behind the pass pawn, and then some other key positions. And also at the bottom, I also have opening repertoire, which I'm going to make a video where the openings will be a little bit more detailed. And here they're going to have to, I'm going to kind of create a repertoire. I already have it. I just have to upload the content and kind of make a video on it. But, they have to be able, if they play, for example, a king move, I believe they need to know like the 4 most common openings. If they play a king move, it's e4, e5, or e4, then c5, the Sicilians. So I will have where it's going to be still a short version of an opening, but they will need to have a basic to be able to do for the Sicilian, for the center counter, or the Scandinavian, just the 4 main types of positions. And I run statistics when I do this, also the books that I read, but I run statistics through ChessBase, and I look to see, okay, what are the most common replies when you do e4. So then I try to focus on what's more likely that they're going to see. And like I said, this is to come, but let me click on the link so you can see what I have there already. So for pawn endgames, I have, like for example, opposition, critical squares, fox chicken. So if they click here, it's going to send them to the page with the lessons for that. And they have the videos, what is opposition first, how to use opposition, understanding key squares. These are videos that I've recorded. Some when I run low on time, if I find some good resource, I'll just link those. And then at the end, they have here, after they watch the videos, they'll be like ready to practice. And when they go and practice, I have these broken down into 3 different levels. For beginner, I have from 100 to 1400 level. And when I had the way I wrote these ratings here is that anybody at this level, if they watch those videos, they should be able to understand and be able to successfully play through these positions. And again, these are interactive as well. If they click, they'll go through chess.com where they'll be able to practice against the computer. And then I have at the bottom, I have for an intermediate level. So if you have students that are, more experienced, they already know, the videos, they'll be able to pretty much just practice those more challenging types of positions. And then I also have a couple for advanced players all the way up to like master level. and I've done that with all of these. I do, for my students, I always have them go through the beginner. Now, the students that have been on the team last year, I just want to make sure that they can complete the beginner level. If they still struggle, they'll watch the videos. But then I do have some students that I know that they could go to the intermediate level. So I will have them do the other puzzles. Also, this page goes back and forth if they just start practicing, but they notice that they're having trouble, they're not getting the right answer, then if they click here and need help, it will send them back to the page where it has the videos. So they can watch the lesson and then go ahead and practice it. So let me go back. All right, let me go back. So I have the same for the other topics. Then I have also queen versus pawn on the 7th rank. And they'll have the video. It'll talk about, you know, the main positions when you can win, when it's a draw, but also some special cases where you could actually win if you have a rook pawn and a bishop pawn, which normally they're draw, but if the king is close enough, you know, and then they'll be able to just the same thing, go and practice against the computer. Those type of positions also split by difficulty. Right now I'm recording the knight versus pawn, so this is kind of where I'm at right now, and I will continue and have these. But also as a coach, if you're familiar with these positions and you could coach the students, you could just go to the practice page and explain those positions to the students via Zoom, and then just have them go and practice it. And let me go back. So this is as far as the content that I have already there. And then obviously this is a work in progress, and I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna keep putting information on the website. I do have to buy me some time, but so far I haven't found it on sale. So, you know, this is a work that I've put together for the last 3 years. And going back to the home page, I also want to talk about what I have here. For the openings tab, I have, you know, a lot of other openings that are like full, you know, the full repertoire. In the program, the students can select to just play the first 8 moves of all the variations. So they don't have to go through all of it as they are learning it. But I have, you know, quite a few openings. Obviously, there's going to be more coming in later on. Those are all available for download, which also the instructions of how to install the software, how to use it. And then coming back, video lessons, I still have to put some links. So this is, like I said, a work in progress. I just started with the end game. I will have in the future middle game, you know, and so on. For pawn end games, I have the course all the way up to 1800 level. And then these are for the advanced topics, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of information out there. That's why I built that course, just for the students to know where to start. Because if you just go on a page like this and you see a million positions everywhere, you know, I think it's overwhelming for students and for coaches. And then let me go back. For endgame versus computer, this I have it complete for all the topics. So, you know, same color bishop, rook versus knight, the practice is there. So even if I don't have the lesson, but you as a coach are familiar with those positions, you could, you know, just click and then kind of explain the main positions to them, doing like a screen share, and then having the students go and practice. But I do have all the endgame uploaded. You know, pawn endgames and rook endgames are the biggest section there, and I have it split. You know, rook and pawn versus rook, rook and 2 pawns. So when they go there, they'll be able to, you know, must know positions, pawn on the 7th rank, 5th rank, and then they'll be able to learn and practice those positions. But like I said, I will have lessons in the future as time as the time goes by. You know, I do have 4 kids at home, so time is kind of hard to find, and one on the go. So yeah, life is crazy during this time. And then middle game, I don't have any lessons yet. I do have some topics, but I'm going to add more, you know, backward pawn, isolated pawns, minority attack, pawn majority, miscellaneous things there. And this also is something that I envision, because I know that after I teach the students will start to forget things. So I in the future, what I want to do is add a test where the students will be able to test if they want pawn endgames, if they want rook endgames, whatever. And after they answer, this is a win, this is a draw, this is a loss, the software to kind of recommend, hey, you need to review this content, and so the students know where they're at, what they need to review. But like I said, I have a lot of great ideas, it's just I don't have a lot of time. But this is a work in progress, as what I have on the website so far. Oh, and I almost forgot, which I think it's also very important. For my students, I have here in Mo, and I have a link to Argo. If the students click here, checklist, this will open up a page that they have to log in, and I have it linked to just the students at Argo. And right here, I have my varsity students, I have my JV students. And then when they go through the topics, because I want the students to, like when I teach, obviously I have a plan and I know what I give them, but I want to be able to tell the students, just go. And then the students that work harder, they'll improve harder, and I'll be able to see their progress. The students, as they go through the topics, square of the pawn and so on, they'll be able to click if they finished it, or if they need help, and it's going to show me, like it's going to color code it with yellow. Or if they don't get it, and like they watch the video and they just don't get it, then I'll be able to kind of see where they're at, and also meet them. For example, for like a topic, like for a beginner level, like checkmate king and rook, what I'll do is I'll separate, and I'll put a varsity player with a JV player, because and this year too, I don't have an assistant coach. Being by myself, I won't be able to reach all of them. So sometimes I group them in, and especially now with like Zoom, I'll put them in breakout rooms, and I'll put like a varsity player with a JV player to kind of to explain those, or kind of guide them through as they do it, just to master it. But this will kind of communicate with me where they're at. And it does go. I do have to modify this a little bit, because this is what I've used last year, and over the summer is when I started that uh, beginner to master course on the website. So I will kind of modify it to follow that sequence. And then I'll be able to see, so you can see I don't have like how the pieces move, or some of the other beginner stuff. But this is where the students will be able to go, and I will be able to see, this is like a Google spreadsheet, and I will be able to monitor where they're at. So that is like the main portion that I wanted to, to go, that I have available on the website. Like I said, it's a work in progress. When I run practices, I usually have, an agenda, and I say, okay, this is what I have scheduled. If you've already finished this on your own, I'm going to meet with you. If not, you're watching the videos. In the meantime, I work with the students that needed help. Maybe they have already done it on their own. And I have them kind of go at their own level. With the varsity members, I'm going to start a review of the pawn end games that I've done, also the opening. With the people that are at the beginning, I have a couple of students that just started, and most of my students. I think in my 11 years that I've been here, I only had 3 students that played a tournament before, and I think my highest rated player was like around 800. So I don't have a lot of players that come in with a lot of experience, but I was pretty successful throughout the years, and kind of that is the sequence that I followed as I taught my students. Obviously I want them to make sure that they improve the fastest and be ready to compete by state, and that's kind of the plan that I followed. But you could use it in any way, and obviously um, you don't need to go about the what I have on there, but the resources are there for practice. All the end games are there for practice, and I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can use it from what I've gone over. And with that, I'm going to stop here. I think I went a little bit over the 30 minutes, but I want to stop my share, and I'll be answering questions if there's any questions. I wasn't able to kind of monitor the chat.
Thank you, Lucian. Yeah, if you have questions, you put them in the chat box. You can also raise your hand, and then I can call on you one by one to have those answered by Lucian. I just want to point out real quick, normally for our chess clinic, we're able to divvy up different sessions for new coaches and experienced coaches. So just want to point out, thanks to Lucian here for having a wide variety of resources. I myself was brand new to competitive chess when I first got into this. And so we're just so glad that Lucian was able to show a wide variety of resources where students and coaches can learn about chess here. So I'm just going to give you another moment here to formulate your questions, and we'll start asking them for Lucian.
So I have here someone asked about the spreadsheet. So if you email me, I might even just put it on Slack, and then you'll be able to download it and modify it for your students. And all you have to do is pretty much just I'll probably even put a video later on. You just have to add the email addresses to the file. So the students, when they log in, it's only the students in your chess club or whoever you choose to allow on that sheet. And they'll be able to log in and then make the changes. So I will put it on Slack. And also if I forget or anything, just shoot me an email. I usually check my emails at night. I try not to do too much work when the kids are up. So I usually start work around 9 o'clock till like 11, 12. So if you need an immediate, if you need like something immediate, like, or a question, you have practice and you have run to struggle, just shoot me a text. And I'm usually good replying to text.
Quick interruption here. We are going to formulate a document which has links by presenter for everything they showed you and things like that. So we can also have the spreadsheet on that list of resources as well. So we'll be posting that list of resources by presenter next week, as well as link to this video. Next question would be from Matt Schultz about Chromebooks.
So this, the website is able to be accessed on Chromebooks, because the only thing that you'll not be able to is the opening software, because you need to have somewhere to install it. And for that, I would recommend, using like cell phones, have the students use their phones to download those files. As far as like iPhones, I did a little bit of research, and hopefully I'll be able to borrow from someone, or maybe you guys are familiar with these software, but I did a little bit of research and I found something like that's called like Chess Viewers or Chess Base. There's something like T-Chess Pro. I haven't looked, or Chess Arsenal. These are like iPhone software that I believe they run a PGN document that the students will be able to play. I just don't have any iPhone devices, so I wasn't able to test them and see how they work. But I could send that list too if you have an iPhone and you want to download it and see how it works. And actually let me know, because I could add that to the website for iPhone users.
Lucian, what advice would you have for somebody who's brand new to coaching chess? Like, what's the first tool? What's the first step that you'd recommend that they get their students working on?
So as I have on the website there, let me actually share my screen back. I believe just starting on from scratch, like going from 0 to 100, they need to, like how the pieces move, and then they got to practice moving those pieces. This video goes over some important strategies that just like a rook is 9 pawns, a king is, and then what's a checkmate, stalemates, en passant, some of those things that a lot of times students forget. Algebraic notation as well. This probably they don't really necessarily need to go right at the beginning, especially that it doesn't have the coordinates when they get to practice. But it is good to watch the video. Just for example, if they read a book, Knight F4, just so they recognize, okay, the F and the 4 squared, where is that on the board as they go through, and then checkmate in 1. They need to know what checkmate is. How do you win the game? And usually as a beginner, they will play other beginner players. They'll be in the open, at least they'll have 2-3 rounds. If first round or second round, they got paired with someone more experienced, they will get to play eventually someone at their level, and they need to be able to know how to finish the game. And then just checkmate in one move, which covered the basics, like with the rook, and so they could identify those type of positions. And after they mastered that, they've practiced these skills, then they could go on to the next rating category. So I think this should be followed in order, or someone that's more advanced, they should look back to make sure that, hey, I don't know what deflection is, for example, in the tactics, right? So then they might want to just practice that and move on to whatever they feel like that they didn't really master, even if they're a strong player. But I do, like I said, I do recommend kind of following through the sequence that I have in this course.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? I don't see any hands raised, but do we have any other questions? You can unmute your mic and ask at this time if you have other questions.
All right.
All right. If you think of any more questions, you can type them in the chat box for later. Okay, it has been over an hour now, so we're going to take just a short break for people to stretch their legs and get another cup of coffee, things like that. I know a lot of people want to just get through this, are so excited, but as teachers, we know that our students need breaks in between classes, and so we're going to get into some technical things here pretty soon with Eric. So we're going to take like a 3-minute break here, and I'll share my screen of that, so we all have a timer. Okay, and so let's meet back here.